Get up here.
All right, welcome everyone to our budget workshop. And for June. So we will have our wonderful, illustrious, magnificent finance director. I ran out of words. So
Terry's over here yelling at me, so
You can stop.
we ain't even started yet. All right, welcome everybody. On page 1 of your packet, we're going to look at our sales and use tax distribution. This would be sales tax that was collected in February, remitted to the state in March, and we received in April. The total amount of the tax was $251,567.38. Of that, our general fund received $149,649.03. $37,000 went to our street fund, $39,000 went to parks, and $25,000 went to our bond reserve payment. On the next page, on page 2, you see the breakdown of what we get from the state. This just shows our deposits, our service charge, and our interest earned. The total amount of collected tax was $258,143.25. And we had our service charge of $7,744. The next page, on page 3, is just kind of a recap of the first page of how it's broken down, 1%, 1%, and the parts that go to parks and streets. On page 4, this is the breakdown that we've been doing on to show how much of it is food and beverage, how much is lodging, and how much of it is all other taxes. We've been staying pretty consistent. For the month of April, $42,000 of it was food and beverage, $46,000 of it was lodging, and $169,000 was all the other miscellaneous tax for the $258,000. Keeps our percentages on the next page about the same. We're at 61% for miscellaneous, 15% for food and beverage, and 24% for lodging. The next few pages is the detail, and I was going to ask y'all, do you want me to continue putting this detail in here?
I don't. But
It's
that's
14 pages. I didn't know
up
if you look at the detail or if you just want the summary of it. Do you?
I still would like to.
Okay, no problem. Just gonna ask. It's something new we were doing. So, okay, on page 14, this is our sales tax comparison year over year. You can see our number for April. We were up $22,000 over the previous year of 2023 for 11.82% increase. So far for the month or for the year, we're $33,000 over where we were in 2023, which is a 3.89% increase. This trend is continuing. In May, we were up 2.657 over the previous year, and in June, we're up 3.9% over the previous year. So we had good months coming in for May and for June also. We got our June sales tax today. So we're seeing that trend. The next is our sales and use tax comparison chart, just to show you over the years of 22, 23, and 24, kind of how it compares to those years in chart form. Our next page is our revenue and expenditures report. Oh, do you have a question, Terry?
I can wait. I'll wait.
On our revenue and expenditures report, this is for a month ending 4/30 of 2024. We have finished 33.06% of the year is our percentage where we're at. We have had total revenues of a little over $3 million, total expenses of a little over $4 million, showing a net loss of $1,328,000. If you go down to the bottom, you'll see that we've had capital infusions of $817,373 and $186,000. So our actual loss that we have experienced so far is $324,000. These capital infusions are cash that we had in the bank that we had anticipated, some of it, spending on capital improvements, capital projects, buying things and stuff. Okay. Then that detail begins on the next page, page 17, and that's all the detail for the revenue and expenditures report. If there's any specific category y'all want to look at or have any questions about.
I might call you.
No problem.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yep, a lot of info here.
Hey, Michael, just a quick question out of ignorance. On, where did it go? Oh, 01004122.
What page, David? Where are you?
I'm sorry, 18,
Okay.
reimbursement WCCAD.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
That's the Washington, I always say Washington, Western Carroll County Ambulance District. We get that in June. We've got our payment for this year. We get it in June and we get into December. This is an estimate of what we think the contract is going to bring in. This is for us providing ambulance services out into the county. This is actually coming in high this year. We budgeted $291, and I believe our first payment was $168,000. It'll show up in the June financials, but we get 2 payments a year, once in June, once in December.
Okay, thank you.
So that's going to be if it trends, keeps going like it is, it'll be over $300,000.
And that's a tax that comes from, off the real estate tax, or is it households?
No, it's a
contract.
yeah.
It's a contract with Western District.
I know, but the amount of money is based on what the, because this comes from a tax, and then it's a percentage of a tax. Lonnie told me,
I'm not
like
sure.
2.5 or something percent of real estate.
I'll look into that and see.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's a millage percentage.
Yeah, I'm not-
Well,
It's a millage, yeah, it's not,
I don't know though, because they negotiated the contract in,
I don't think so. I think it's a lump sum, but I may be wrong, because we negotiated, I want to say
Yeah.
500,000, 500-something thousand. That was a percentage of,
because it went down in 2023 and we're back up in 2024.
we had 80% and we went up to 85%.
Yes.
Of, now you're probably right, it's 85% of the
Maybe the
millage.
tax,
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Yeah, because
All right.
we dropped down, because when Nick was negotiating it, it dropped down to 80, and then whenever Gary came back in, he got it back up to like 85, I think. So, yeah. That sounds right. Anything else? Steve, you look like you have a question.
I just looked that way.
Okay. All right, so moving on. We're going to go to page 39. This is going to be our capital expenditures. I don't think anything, the only thing that really changed here was a couple of little purchases that Smitty did. He bought one of his heavy-duty post lifts. He bought one of those, and then one of his welding machine. He bought a welding machine. I think that's the only 2 increases that this report has on it that were purchased in April. So, the next page is our comparative bank balances, year and month end. We ended April with $4.9 million in loose cash and 5.75 total. You see a significant drop. We've spent a lot of money on water leaks and water projects. Page 41 shows the comparison month over month, how the money's gone down. And 42 is just a comparison year over year of 23 and 24. Page 43 is our long-term liabilities and investments. We did make our interest payment on the bond. So we have, our next payment will be in October. It'll be a payment of $294,000. That'll leave our principal balance of $725,927. Our solar lease project, we have that now on here listed. And then in our investments, the only thing that changed is the general fund depreciation CD. We did renew it on 5/25 for another year. It stayed at CS Bank, and the interest rate was 5.6 with a APY of 5.15. So we got a good rate there. The last page, this is a new chart that I have added, just kind of, since, we're having a lot of discussion about water and everything, I'm going to add some new charts over the next couple of months to do with water. But this one has to do with our payment to Carol Boone of us purchasing the water. So you can kind of see how we're doing in January. And how that works is we get the water in December, then we pay for it in January. So in our usage in December of 2023 was $44,000 worth. In 24 it was 45, so it went up a little bit. In January we had the big leak at the water tower and a couple other big leaks, so that jerked it up to 72,000, so it was a $22,000 increase. February it went up $5,000, and then in March it leveled back off once we got a lot of the leaks
Yeah,
fixed.
got back to our normal leaks.
Yeah. That makes us our normal stuff.
Yeah.
So this is a chart just to kind of show you what we're purchasing from Carol Boone, how much water we're purchasing.
It's good to know. My question that I had for you was just, if that 3%, what is it we were doing on for the annual? Is that the 3%? No, that's just over the month, wasn't it?
Month over month, yes.
Month over month.
Yeah, well, it's, your month over month is is out at the side. It was 11.82, so
Right.
that was what it was over that month at the same time last year. 3.89
That's our
is
aggregate.
total.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the aggregate.
we've collected, and that's down at the bottom. You'll see it's 3.89, which totals to $33,230
Right.
more than we collected this time last year.
Yeah, so is that in line with inflation? And that's pretty close about what it is, so.
Yep. And that's pretty close to what we had budgeted. It's a little bit over what we had budgeted. We had budgeted about a 2 to 3% increase. And we're right now, we're running at about, it's at a 3.9 right now for this month. It goes up to, or it goes down to a 3.59 for May, and then it goes back up to a 3.9 for June. So we're hovering right at that 3.5 to 3.9. So right now, our taxes are coming in strong.
Coming in strong, but we're still basically, based on inflation, we're flat. Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
People keep stopping me and telling me that sales downtown is down a lot, 40%. People throwing the number out, 20%. And I know, but if we look at sales tax collection, wouldn't that be reflected in this? It's like, how can it be down that much and we're still collecting more taxes, like sales tax?
Yeah, I mean, all of this is based upon, like, if you look at the chart that we did, all of it is based on the different categories.
Right.
So we don't analyze the miscellaneous to see if there's any big, huge movement in there. If one industry is down and another industry is up,
Right.
but it's holding steady on this 60, 15, and 24 as far as food, lodging, and then this miscellaneous other tax. So the taxes are still coming in. That's kind of a good question for them of what their losses are based on. Is it because their rents have gone up? Is it because their cost of goods have gone up?
Everything's gone up.
Those kind of things. Because what we're collecting would tend to suggest that the sales are the same.
Right. I understand one store could be doing better, one store could be doing worse.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it would all show up somewhere somehow.
Yeah, it depends on, the mood of the shopping public.
I see people walking around town with sacks of stuff that they bought, especially a lot of young women.
I don't know how many people have told me sales is down, sales is
I know.
down. There's so many stores are closed downtown.
You go downtown on midweek, and there's not very many people.
Yeah.
There's just not.
I drove through town today and it was packed, seemed like to me.
It was today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good, I'm glad to hear it. I was down this early morning and it was not
Yeah.
busy then,
You know, there's a
I
lot
never
of people
made it
walking
down.
around.
but good.
Anybody else? He's here.
All right.
We got all the answers.
Thank you.
Listen to him.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, we will adjourn until the Budget Committee until 6 o'clock. Re-adjourn or for our council meeting.